Oh, we have a guest.
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू दिस वीडियो। आपका इसमें स्वागत है गौरव चैनल पे। आप इस वीडियो को देख रहे हैं विथ मी फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया वेरी ऑन स्टील Lucas from Australia. A very exciting match between Pakistan and Australia came to an end on the day fifth at the very last moment, and the result of that match is draw. We all expected that Australia can win this game from day before yesterday. So we had thought like Australia might win that game on the day four, but it not that the case. Was Pakistan batted really well. They batted whole 2 days, like they are playing some of the players playing more than 400 balls, like Babar Azam. I just want to talk about Babar Azam. He played more than 400 balls. He faced a lot of overs. He spent most time on the middle. So they pull back. their they can't win, but they just draw their match. It is very good effort from the Pakistan team, but hard luck to the Australian cricket team. They didn't put much effort. I think there is a poor captaincy from the PAK means it might help spinners early on. So let's talk about something on that match. But a very good congratulations to the Pakistan. They played very well sensibly, especially their batsmen. I just want to call Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, and their opener Abdullah Safiq. They played very well. They shown their patience and they just drawn that match. And the result of the series is still awaited in the Lahore Gaddafi Stadium, the last test match, a third test match. It will be a decider. So, hello, Lucas. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Hello, thank you for having me. A very poor display by Australia, but a very good batting display by Pakistan, especially from three batsmen: Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, and Shafiq.
Exactly.
Especially Babar Azam. Just laid down the law today. Established himself as a world class batsman today, and nothing can be taken away from him today.
Exactly. Not only Babar Azam, but it's from the starting. We can they are only two down for just 22. So we might think we all. I think I personally might think that it will be an all out for Australia will be all out in just a two or two three session. But it's not the case. The Abdullah Shafiq and the Babar Azam partnership really done very well. Last day, the before today, they played very sensibly. They played their strike rate might be down, but Babar Azam played very with a very good strike rate, and he shows very positive intent while like coming to as an fourth down, and he played very sensible, and that's the result why all the team got some that confidence. Down the lower order, Rizwan played a very good role along with the other lower order. Fawad Alam might be the disappointed for the Pakistan team, but it's an overall good performance by the Pakistan.
It was fantastic by Pakistan today, and yesterday as well, because they lost quick wickets early on day one, and unfortunately Babar Azam and Shafiq had to do a lot of the work, and they did that. Shafiq batted very good on that fourth day one of Pakistan's batting innings. Babar Azam was fantastic. He made his 100. Day two, Rizwan also played very well on the first day on day four. So there was hope for Pakistan. The problem is the pitch was not a normal pitch. It was breaking up. It was very hard to bat on. It seemed to me that they did try to go to get that target too much, especially on a pitch like that. So I don't blame them for that. And they continued into day five, their second day of batting, and they were absolutely fantastic. Fantastic by Babar Azam, fantastic by Mohammad Rizwan, who scored 100 on the second last over of the day. Babar Azam deserved his double 100. Let's be fair there. Babar Azam, got out on 190 to a ball that came off his glove, a little bit bounced by Nathan Lyon. So very, very disappointing. He didn't get his double hundred. It need not matter. That it's irrelevant. He batted for long enough. The damage was already done. And unfortunately, Babar Azam did get out, but he was fantastic. He was the man of the match, by the way, rightly deserved. And yeah, rightly deserved Babar Azam, man of the match, and Rizwan at the end of the day with the second last over, made his 100, and they managed to hold it out fantastic by them two or them three. If you could include Shafiq, who was unlucky not to get that 100 as well. I'll just go on here. So till my co-host gets back. Australia, on the other hand, were very, very poor. Very, very poor. Disgraceful in the field. Way below par. Dropped a lot of catches. Labuschagne, Travis Head dropped a lot of catches. Not their fault. The problem is in that they were in so close, so close that any chance they had of catching a ball was impossible because they were literally on the pitch. Rapundra's back. So we'll bring in Rapundra back. Go ahead, Rapundra.
Actually, my
Pakistan's backing.
But I think yeah, Australia might have done some really mistake, like their fielding, especially from Smith. They dropped. He dropped almost 3 catches in the total second fourth inning. So it might outcome the result. That's why I think they have just misinterpreted the Pakistan, and they really batted very well. They grabbed all of the chances they got, like especially Babar Azam, who might got early wicket. But there also one of the umpires' decision might in the favor of Pakistan. That in the case, we know that umpiring is not at par from the local umpires, so we can really argue on that.
Yeah, there were two decisions that seem to have got social media and everybody going. One was a leg side decision that was given not out by Alim Dar. Exactly. That could have been out. If that was given out, they would have stayed out. The second one was advancing down the wicket, hitting LBW, but going on to hit the wicket. I think in that situation, I'm with the umpire on the second one, the one advancing down the wicket. One decision like that comes to mind is Steve Smith in Bangladesh 2018, where Steve Smith advanced down the wicket from a Bangladesh spinner. And he was so far down the track that Bangladesh appealed and he was given out. Steve Smith could not believe it. He referred it, but unfortunately, there was no such thing in place of how forward you were. And it was absolutely ridiculous because Steve Smith was halfway in India at the time he played that shot. And I think they brought in that rule because of that, to give some leniency to the batsman. I have no problem with that. You do got to protect the batsman, in my opinion. The one I'm really concerned about, that they should scrap his umpire's call. That's got to go. That now has to go. You can't say it's umpire's call when you can be given out on that same ball.
Exactly.
And evidence suggests that you will remain out. That umpire's call has to go on that situation. You cannot be out one time and then not out on the same ball. That's just unacceptable. That has to go. My belief is, not my belief, but my opinion is,
it's a very debatable. A lot of Indian experts or former player like Sachin Tendulkar also might raise. In past he issued like umpire's call and that all. So it might be in the debate, because MCC took some of the decision from former like Sachin raised some of the point like run out that. So MCC changed that rule. Might MCC also think about this type of decision as well? Because in the technology there is some type of error, so that's come into a play. So technology is not perfect, as we said, like elevation or ball pitching in line or just hitting the stump. That's a very debatable question because technology can't prove 100% successful or 100% Right, exactly. So, all I know a lot of YouTubers or former player doing show right now. But everyone will talk about the batting performance of Pakistan batsmen and might discuss about the bowlers. But I just want to talk about the pitch. Same Pakistani team all out for 148 in the first and the second inning, and they went for draw. They batted whole 2 days, like spacing 170 plus overs. It's not a joke. What happened to the pitch, Lucas?
That's a very good question. Going into day 3, when Australia are 400, you'd think, well, this is just another typical dry pitch draw. What the hell is going on with the curators in Pakistan? Pakistan came out, absolute collapsed, capitulated big time. The reverse swing, which the commentators have absolutely killed me to death on this. All they seem to talk about is the damn reverse swing, like we haven't seen reverse swing before. And Mitchell Starc was getting some reverse swing. Pat Cummins was getting reverse swing, but the problem is Pakistan's shot selection was very ordinary, attacking strokes away from their body. There was a couple in there. I think I'm just trying to think of one of the openers, Azhar Ali. 5-6 stump line attacking shots. That's just dying for trouble, no matter what you're on, no matter what the situation is. So it was very poor shot selection. The tail enders. Shaheen Afridi actually played really well.
Exactly.
He batted very sensibly. He blocked out the good ball, attacked the bad ball. So Afridi showed that there's nothing wrong with this pitch. It was a very bad selection from Pakistan, and they absolutely capitulated. And that's the one thing with Pakistan that you can say, that they're very inconsistent. They can bat like this for 2 days, as they just did, but if they go out in one innings and stink up the joint and get rolled for 150, 100, that seems to be the problem with Pakistan. There's no consistency. Very poor shots. Farad Alam had a very poor game, first innings and second innings. So it was just a combination of very poor shots. Looking back at the Australian second inning, the first innings they bowled, the bowling first innings, I don't think they did nothing too special. Again, reverse swing. But I think that was poor Pakistan. If Pakistan batted like they did on day 4 and 5, then they wouldn't be in that position. If they just batted normally like they did on day 4 and 5, we'd be here saying this is another disaster pitch, another disgraceful pitch, which in the end it probably was. There were cracks all over the pitch. The ball was spinning a lot, but it took until the last session on day 5 for the ball to actually do something, to spin. So that again, if Pakistan bat for 2 days on day 3 and 4, we say shocking pitch. What the hell's going on in the Pakistan curators? This actually bails them out, because everybody's going to say this was a good test match. This went for 5 days. But your second innings, you make 400 in your second innings, and bat for 2 days without considerably much trouble until the last session of day 5. That's not really a good pitch. That's another terrible pitch, but people won't see it that way. They'll say, well, day 5 test match, how good is this? So the curators will be let off big time in this area, in this test match.
Exactly. Not in this test match, in the whole series, I think curator might have a big question on their head. Obviously, from the Rawalpindi test, we've seen a betting paradise, like a flat road. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of former players, they are saying that it's a road pitch. Anyone can score on it, right? Yeah. So this pitch look like the same pitch, but in the second inning, where Pakistan played, they played very steely shots. And one thing I would just want to add, the Australian fielding is very good. They did some of the runouts there that could come in the favor of their Australian side. In the fourth inning, where Pakistan bat, they batted very sensibly. Expect Imam, Azhar Ali, and Fawad Alam, all were batted very sensibly. But I think they might be a chance for Australia. But poor captaincy from the Pat Cummins. I think he might took like his Starc was in the initial break. But you if you choose if you just don't give a follow on to the Pakistan, if you batted really like some for just near about 1 hour, right? So if he batted for at least 1 or 2 session, it might change the result because it might put some other pressure on the Pakistani team.
Well, let's be very clear. The follow-on made absolutely zero sense. I can't imagine a Steve Waugh team, a Ricky Ponting team, not sending them out again. That's disgraceful. And to only bat for 27 minutes. They batted for 27 minutes, 5 overs. What in the hell was the point of that? Maybe they're trying to catch the Pakistan openers off or something. I have no idea. During those 5 overs, it wasn't exactly like they were going 20 runs and over. It was just a waste of time. And their second innings, the captaincy of Pat Cummins in that second innings was pathetic, to be honest. And Steve Smith. Steve Smith is the vice captain. Steve Smith manipulates fields. He makes decisions. He was also pathetic captaining today. We learned from the Gabba Test match. We're going to go right back to the Gabba Test match where what Tim Payne failed to do and Steve Smith failed to do was rotate bowlers. Because at the end of this, it really happened. Let's go back. Well, let's even go further. Let's go back to Sydney Test match. Pat Cummins, Hazelwood, Mitchell Starc. They're the three bowlers that would get rotated over and over again. They bowled a lot amount of overs. They go into Brisbane. Same thing happened again. Cameron Green was not bowled. Did not bowl in that Brisbane fourth innings that India chased down Richard Pant. He rotated the same bowlers, Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, Hazelwood. They bowled 30, 40 overs in that second innings against India. It completely tore them out of gas. Now, let's go to the first match of Pakistan. Australia bowled for 2 days. Pat Cummins, Josh Hazelwood, Mitchell Starc, they bowled for probably 30 overs in that first innings. Nathan Lyon bowled something like 100 overs. He bowled 30 overs in day one in that first match. Now, the first match, again, Pakistan's second innings. Again, they bowled something like 15, 20 overs. Now, you go to the second match of Pakistan. Yep, they bowled out Pakistan very quickly. That's fine. But again, Cummins has bowled over 15 overs. So has Mitchell Starc. Cameron Green has only bowled something like 8 or 9 overs. So again, once again, they have not learnt from the Gabba by rotating your bowlers. Now you have Steve Smith who can bowl, who actually took a wicket during the Ashes in the Sydney Test match where we thought it's a draw. He took that wicket. You have Marnus Labuschagne. Marnus Labuschagne looked more threatening in his 1 over than Mitchell Swepson looked the whole match. Didn't get used.
There is a big question on Michelle bowling a lot of over to the Michelle, right? Actually, he's not very effective in the Pakistan on that pitch. He might be effective in other condition but he is not available for that pitch. It might Stu Smith or Labuschagne can bowl much better than Swepson. Right? So that's a very big question for this Pat Cummins captaincy. He is not that much good captain. Yeah, you won as a series under this captainship, but at par it's at home. So you have that all like basic pace battery. You have your home condition, so it may be favorable for, but it's not that case when you come to the Asian condition and just play like you might think about you are playing in the Australia. So you have to be a very mentally, tactically very good to just rotate your bowlers. Play some mind game. We played in Australia. We played very mind game with your team. To be very frank, and we won that series, back-to-back series in the Australia. Who we got all out for 36, and we just record from that 36. You might you know very well that 36 all out, and we just came back. We just came back and just retaliate Australian team. So in that case, you have to be a very punctual. You have to be a very static mind. You have to play with the mind. I just seen that today's match. it is like Australia just trying to get just wicket, and I don't know what they are feeling. Just you have to be some just tease some players. You have to just break the concentration of the player like Babar Azam or Abdullah Shafiq or Rizwan. That might come into play, and just they got if they got some early wickets now today, it might be result come in the favor of Australia. That's the tactic missed by the Pat Cummins. If Steve Smith as a full-time captain, he might done this thing early, but I don't think so. What is your take?
The captaincy was disgraceful in more ways than one. Let's go to Mitch Swepson. I hope he never plays again. Sorry, he looked so out of it today. He couldn't get out Stevie Wonder if he tried. Mitch Swepson, right, has played one domestic game this year for Queensland. One. He's been on tour for T20. He didn't play in that T20 series. The T20 World Cup. He was on a reserve to the Ashes, so that means being on the reserve, he could not play any Sheffield Shield. Well, there's no Sheffield Shield games going anyway, so that's another problem with Australia, that Cricket Australia, that I do have. So he went back to the Big Bash, got absolutely smashed there. It gives you no confidence to when you're a spin bowler or any bowler. If you're coming from a T20 series or white ball series, you get smashed. That's what happens in T20. The bowlers get dominated, and then you go to a Test match where you have to rely on your skills. That gives a bowler zero confidence. And Mitch Swepson bowled like he's never played in his life. Now down the road, where Mitch Swepson comes from in Queensland, there's a bowler called Matt Kuhneman who bowls leg spin just like Mitch Swepson. He's played all year long in the Sheffield Shield. He's taken 25 wickets. He's the second leading wicket taker in the Sheffield Shield. Second. The first in spin, he's taken 25 wickets at an average of 29. Right, second on the table. Second on the leading wicket table. Mark Steketee, the other Queenslander that I like as well, is first. All right, so you've had this guy that's played games after games after games leading into this series, and you go with Ashton Agar. Nothing against Ashton Agar. Ashton Agar hasn't played a domestic four-ball game in 2 years. 2 years, and gets picked on white ball form. All right, Swepson the same thing. So selection, I've already messed up there. What they should have done is played Matt Kuhneman in the Ashes. They should have played him in the last Test match. At least give the kid some time. He looks so out of it, and he went for none for 150 in that second innings.
Exactly.
And I don't want to be negative, but I just hope he doesn't play again. He was so far from it, so far from it. And then the new ball taken by Pat Cummins late on the fifth day. The new ball, as I mentioned, Sydney Test and Brisbane Test from India, they were out of gas. Pat Cummins was out of gas, and so was Starc today.
Exactly.
If you look at the speed of Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc, when they are below 140.
30, 140, 130.
Yeah. That means they're out of gas. That means they're running on empty. They're out of gas. Pat Cummins, before he took that ball, he had a spell. He was bowling 130, 135, way below par. He took that new ball. He bowled once with Mitchell Starc, couldn't get it over 135. Mitchell Starc was out on his legs. Pat Cummins got rid of him. Pat Cummins bowled 2 overs. Again, way below par with his pace, and then said, that's enough. So why would you take the new ball? If you're out of gas, why would you take new ball? And if you're out of gas, why would you not use Cameron Green, who's bowled only 7 overs, who's full of steam? Yeah, he's probably less likely to take wickets, but it's not like you don't have another pacer. That's what Cameron Green's selected for. He's selected to be the all-rounder. Use him as an all-rounder. It was just horrible captaincy from Pat Cummins and Steve Smith. He doesn't get away with that. Steve Smith manipulates fields. We all know this. Yeah. We all know that he makes the decisions. We all know this. He doesn't get away with that. That's poor by Steve Smith just as much as Pat Cummins, because Pat Cummins hasn't got the guts to say to Steve Smith, "No, mate, I'm doing it my way." He doesn't have the guts for that. Neither did Tim Payne. right? So it's just as much on Steve Smith's fault than it is Pat Cummins.
Yeah, very poor captaincy from the Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something about Pakistan. Pakistan might have some chance to win this game. I think if someone like Rizwan or Fawad Alam, I was expecting from Fawad Alam because he was getting a lot out of from first inning. So if one of them played like Pant, like heroic inning, it might have chance because 60 runs is not a big deal, right? In the end of the day, 60 runs is not a big deal.
Yeah.
We seen in the Gaba, we seen in the Melba, like we chases down, right?
Yeah.
So except that match drawn from Hanma Vihari and Ashwin, we got injuries like cramp, and that's why otherwise we will gone for win that match as well. So there is sort of mindset they like Pakistan team start batting fourth inning just only for a draw. They didn't think about any win or might think about losing match, but their batsman, their captain put very much in that game, so they can do some miracles today. So I just want to talk about that Pakistan mindset. If today, like after the lunch, if they think about winning the game, it might be a winning side. So that's what you think about.
Well, thank God Pakistan didn't win because I might have a different attitude towards that. I'm actually a bit calm today, and I'm not calm. So thank God they didn't win. Now, having said that, the first session today they went very slow. They went 2 and over. Usually the first session would, you might score 3.5. The problem is the pitch. When we saw a batsman get out like Azam, there was a little collapse. Nathan Lyon got on a roll. So I think the Pakistan mentality was if someone gets out, it might be hard for them to come in next to survive, and that was the case. Sajid Khan came in. He was all over the place, but he thought, I'm going to play some attacking shots. Played a couple of attacking shots against Swepson. Then went back to defense. Nathan Lyon picked him up. So it was very hard for a new batter. They picked up the run rate a little bit in the second innings. The second session with Rizwan still out there, Babar up there. And I think at a point there were 40 runs to get from 90 balls.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, Babar Azam went. And then Rizwan, and then another wicket fell straight after Nathan Lyon. Rizwan couldn't get back on strike. And I think when Azam left, I think that was it. I think they thought, now this is if Rizwan went for it, there'd be no one else to protect the tail enders. So I don't blame Pakistan there. They looked like they did go for it just before Azam was on 190. I think if he would have got to 200, which he fully deserved,
Exactly.
and if the balls were at 30 balls to get from about 60, I think they probably would have went after it. But I think that wicket to Azam, that I think that's when they shut up shop, because they did pick up the run rate big time in that final session. Unfortunately, Azam got out, and Rizwan had really no one to support with him. The next batter available, who's the batter after Rizwan, the all rounder?
Fahim.
Yeah.
Fahim.
He left. So I don't think Rizwan had a choice. There wasn't much batting to come.
Exactly.
Mind you, Afridi isn't the worst tail ender in the world, but you're not going to put him in that situation.
Exactly.
So I hindsight, maybe they could have picked it up a little bit in the first session.
Mm-hmm.
It improved the run rate from 2 and over to around about 3.5. Maybe they could have got a good position, but I think as soon as they tried, and as I'm gone, that was it. They just made a decision to shut up shop. Too dangerous, as we saw with Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon got on a very good roll.
Very
And and that was it. So I think if you want to criticize Pakistan, criticize their first session. But I think they did try to go for it, but they just got out at the wrong time.
Exactly. So let's talk about next match. Who was gonna win? What's your prediction?
I can't see Australia winning. They had a chance. They had a chance today to win. You haven't won in age. You haven't won in Asia since 2005. So, well, I'll rephrase that in case our viewers know. Last time Australia won officially was 2011. That was against Sri Lanka. 2 of those test matches were not even bowled because of monsoon rains. So they won that series 1-0. I'm not even going to count that. So 2005 officially, a proper series, like a proper 3-test series. That was the last time they won a series. In my books. Sri Lanka, technically, I'm not going to count that when 2 test matches were cancelled because of monsoons. So you had a perfect opportunity. Yep, they haven't won a game in Asia since 2009, 2018. That was India, in Pune, where Steve Smith made that fantastic 100. Before that, got embarrassed by Bangladesh, and then won that first match in India. Then lost the series. So that was 4 years ago. Mind you, they haven't played in Asia since. They've played in UAE. They lost that series. That's about it, really. But point is, you had a perfect opportunity to break that duck. Perfect. What more the hell do you want? You know,
they had a great chance to win this game and might win this series. I know how excited you are before the announcement of the Pakistan Australia tour of Pakistan. You might seen your tweets, and we might catch up in this show. Like, it's an historic tour to the Australia tour to Pakistan. Might the first series win after 2005. We all know that, and Australia had a good chance to win this series as well. Pakistan made a very blunder in the pitches, like curator made a very such a pathetic pitch. But in the second test match, Australia played very fine inning. They bundled out Pakistan for a very low score, and then after Pakistan played very exceptional, and they just saved this match. Now the series decider, it's on Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. So it might be a turning track. We can see some good pitches there. After 2009, they are playing first. They are like hosting first test match after long duration. So I think they might prepare a good pitch because they also got the merit point in Rawalpindi. Might be this pitch also in the search of ICC curatorship, right? So I think there will be an exciting match in the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. Third match, and in my view, Pakistan gonna win that match.
Well, selection have to be very careful. If it's a turning track, they've got no choice but to stick with Swepson. You've got Agar, but they're not professional. They're not full-time spinners in the domestic league.
Exactly.
They play IPL, they play T20, they play Big Bash, you know. And Swepson, I don't blame him for getting smashed. He bowled poorly. He was bowling absolutely custard pies, leg slide wides, you name it. But he's never bowled that many overs in his life. This year, he's done it previously for Queensland in Sheffield Shield 2-3 years ago, where he should have been probably picked. But unfortunately, because of COVID, he didn't get the chance to go overseas. And when they did, it was to England. You're not going to pick 2 spinners in England. You'd be lucky to pick 1 spinner in England. So he didn't have he just got thrown into a T20 atmosphere and say, all right, go do a job there, and then come play a test match in Pakistan, just like that. He's got no confidence. Agar's even worse. He doesn't play Sheffield Shield cricket. He's even worse. So I don't know how they're going.
Yeah, lack of match practice. They didn't play domestic cricket lot much. That's the reason why. But there is a selection blunder, right?
Yeah.
Australia made a very bad selection blunder. They didn't pick. Playing in Asia, no? So you must have a very quality spinners in your selection team, right? So you just got Lyon and Australia. You just said we just play all over the domestic like T20 cricket. That might affect the cricket, right?
Well,
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Australia might pick 2 or 3 very well Lyon spinner or domestic spinner who bowled a lot of overs. Some great season, domestic season might perform very well in this condition, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very big question in the Australian team selection. And I don't know what is the output or what is the decision of Pat Cummins in the selection team. He didn't pick any specialist spinner except Lyon. I don't know.
Well, I feel extremely bad for Nathan Lyon because on the first day of the first match, he bowled 30 overs. That's unacceptable. That is so unacceptable. No, I don't remember Ashwin or Jadeja or Axar Patel bowling 30 overs on day one. 30 overs on day one. No. It's impossible. How do you manage to bowl 30 overs on day one in a test match on day one? And that's what Nathan Lyon did. And then he's bowled a tremendous amount. He's bowled another 30 overs today. I feel very, very bad for him because he was bowling his ass off, Nathan Lyon. He didn't get any luck whatsoever. He got drop catches galore. I'll get into that later. And he was by himself trying to get Australia back into this. I feel very bad for Nathan Lyon because he had no support from Mitch Swepson. Now, in Australia, unlike Swepson and Agar, what does Nathan Lyon do when he finishes with his test matches? He goes back to New South Wales and played domestic cricket. He played 3 games at the back end last year before he's gone to Pakistan. So he plays Sheffield Shield games, unlike Swepson did, unlike Agar did. So domestic spinners, as I said, Matt Kuhnemann is the second leading wicket taker in the Sheffield Shield. 25 wickets at 29. But they've gone with someone who's played IPL or the T20 World Cup. I don't think Mitch Swepson plays IPL. So they've picked someone on the T20 World Cup or Big Bash. So let's say Big Bash. And they haven't gone with a good. I've seen Matt Kuhnemann live against South Australia at Adelaide Oval. I've seen him live. He's a very good deceiving leggy. He doesn't spin at a mile, but he's got very nice flight. Very good flight. Can deceive you very, very quickly. Travis Head was playing in one of those games, and it made Travis Head look very, very silly up before that Ashes series where Travis Head blasted 101 session. So he's a very deceiving leggy, and it wasn't even considered. So he considered. So that's already a selection blunder there. I'm sick of the chairman of selectors. They seem to change every year. Now it's George Bailey. There used to be a motto in the selectors is that you make runs, you get picked. Khwaja made an amount of runs before the Ashes, got picked, playing this series. Matt Kuhnemann took second most wickets, didn't get picked. So why are you giving hope to these players? Oh, play Sheffield Shield, don't play IPL, play Sheffield Shield. Alex Carey wouldn't play Sheffield Shield, he'd play IPL.
Exactly.
So the chairman of selectors at that time was saying, play Sheffield Shield. These players are playing Sheffield Shield. They're not getting picked. They're getting picked. These guys that are playing Big Bash T20 getting picked over these guys who wreck their asses off in Sheffield Shield. It's unacceptable. And I thought George Bailey, who was part of that team in the Brisbane, I thought he would have learned. I thought Pat Cummins would have learned by that loss. Apparently not. Why didn't I see that coming? Because I saw in the Ashes where they picked Scott Boland, they picked Michael Neser. So they said, you know what, we are going to reward domestic form by picking these guys. Look at Scott Boland, unbelievable Ashes series. But for some reason they haven't done it with a spinner, and that puzzles me. That just goes right back to what they originally did 2-3 years ago.
Exactly. So I think this Australian team can't perform. They're performing very good, but they can't win in Asia. Your dream might take some more years, because you can't beat India in India. Like that's end of the debate, right? You can't beat India in India for at least for 4 to 5 years. So my Bangladesh is also performing very good in this Asian condition, right? Pakistan also performing good. You might win in Sri Lanka. That's a very probable chance if you tour Sri Lanka for the test series. Hopefully, you will get more than three test as we get from the India. So I think you are lagging with a very quality spinner, which might help to win in Asia, right? So you
Yeah.
have to pick up some of the best spinner, domestic spinner, which you are having, and you have to put in on the squad, right? So you have to
Yeah.
give them a match practice. If you are performing in the domestic league, you must give the preference to the international league, right? So if you perform in Asia, you will be a hero, right? If you
Yeah.
perform in Asia, you will be the hero, right? If you perform in the somewhere in the England or Australia, you might not pick, you might not can't get fame that much. If you perform in the Asia, you win the series or you win a single match single-handedly, you get the fame, and you must learn something because Asian pitch, you know how they perform, how they turn the match, right? So just let's talk about India. So just a quick overview of India in Sri Lanka series. India wrap up that both the match in 3 days. So what is your take on that?
Take on the Indian Sri Lankan series. Well,
Exactly.
well, uh, the pink ball. I've had regular amount of debates. I've actually done a show separately about the pink ball. They said Pakistan, it was a rank turning pitch, but yet Bumrah took the wickets. Shemi took the wickets. That's effective the pink ball.
Exactly.
That might have been a rank turner because Jadeja I think got two, Ashwin got two, Aksar got a few wickets. But the pink ball helps bowling seamers. No matter if you're playing on a green top, no matter if you're playing on a rank turner or a flat hard deck, because the pink ball swings not more than the red ball, more than the red ball.
Exactly.
So I remember a test match against Bangladesh that India played at Eden
Kolkata is
Gardens. Yeah, it was at
first pink
Eden
ball.
Gardens. Yeah, yeah.
Kolkata.
And Ishant Sharma was swinging that ball a mile, absolute mile.
Yeah, he was 10 for in that match. I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with the rank turner pitch. It's just the ball is better for seam bowling because it swings
Exactly.
more. So swing has no, so many people around the world I see on social media. Oh, the pitch, they put the word swing next to the word pitch. Pitch is not the reason why it swings. It's the air temperature. It's the control. It's the moisture around. It's the environment. No, nothing to do with the damn pitch. The ball will swing in any environment. The pink ball makes you swing it even further. It helps you improve swing. And
Exactly.
that's what Brumar got right. He took a 5-wicket haul, fantastic. Spinners did the rest because the
First
pitch.
wicket.
Yeah,
Ball in home condition.
yeah,
He got first
exactly.
five
Yeah,
for in the.
yeah, and we all know it's very hard for pacemen to take wickets in India. Very, very hard.
Exactly. Most
And,
important, he didn't play that much cricket in India, right? He didn't
yeah,
play much test cricket
yeah,
in India. He performed all over the world. He played lot of more test in the Sina countries except India, right? So
yeah,
he is a world class bowler. He got all sorts of bowling like tactics and whatever you can say. He is a world class bowler. I think India is invincible in the home. It might come anytime, like South Africa, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, you can say they are you can say a low grade team. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Like, but if you say England or Australia or South Africa or New Zealand, they all struggle in Indian condition, or you can say the subcontinent condition, right? So that's what we
yeah.
are expecting in the Indian team. So it's a very end of Indian season. The IPL is coming up next this month, later this month, and it will be around 2 month big IPL season coming up. So there will be no much international cricket happening during that season. Just only South Africa series. We might see in the news like South African player preferring IPL over this domestic league like T20 Test series again the Bangladesh. So, what is your take on that?
Well, I'm very disappointed. that Sri Lanka, South Africa are
Bangladesh
going
and
a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed that South Africa are turning to a tier 2 or B side team. That's disappointing. That does no good for Test match cricket. Because most of their players want to play IPL. Rabada, Norkie, Faf. Well, I don't think Faf plays Test cricket
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah, so De Kock, well, he's not playing Test cricket. He's retired. Well, I'm not even sure what the hell De Kock is doing. 1 minute he's retired, 1 minute he's playing.
Same thing happened in the last year as well. They just laid down Pakistan tour and just they send their second stream to the Pakistan to play Pakistan series, and they come to the play IPL, right? So it's not a first time where South African player or West Indian player they're preferring to play IPL over the international cricket or a domestic cricket, which they are preferring to play an IPL. Because they also know that you got fame in the IPL. If you perform, you will get a big contract in the upcoming other league, as because IPL is a such a league so that all the world watching you. All franchises other than like PSL, BBL, Big Bash, or any other league, they are watching you. If you perform here, you will get a big contract in the other league as well. So that's the main motto of I think, as my perspective, West Indian player, South African player, they are all want to play IPL and perform very well in it.
I don't have a problem with the people think, I bash IPL a lot on Twitter and that people think I've got a problem with IPL. I don't have a problem with players playing in the IPL. I have a problem with players putting their international career on hold, mainly Test match career on hold. Maxwell won't play in this one day series. Glenn Maxwell won't play in the Pakistan White series. Neither is Warner, Steve Smith. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. I don't care. But when you play the Test matches, the number one format, this is the number one format in cricket. Some might say 2020. That's fine. I disagree with them heavily. But for me, in Australian cricket, Test matches and England, Test matches will always be the number one format. It's the pinnacle of the game. That might be different in other countries. That's fine. I don't have. Yeah.
Virat Kohli and all sort of the players, they are preferring to play Test cricket, right? They are also India is in a favor of playing a lot of Test match. After England, India is playing more Test. Like after England, the second most team played Test cricket in the last 4 or 5 years is India, right? They're about 56, 59 Test. England with 87.
Yeah, I'm talking more about the West Indies, the Sri Lankas.
Exactly. Their graph just declined on the day. Like if you say like Sri Lanka, West Indies, they are declining. They are not playing that much of Test cricket or quality Test cricket. They are declining. That's the very big issue in this CC. You have to take a note. Yeah, I am also in a favor of like if you want to play IPL, it's okay, but you have to play for your country first, right? So you have to prefer or play for your country, perform in the Test. You have to like. We want that mighty West Indian when all other teams are feared to face you, right? So which we are lagging.
Well, like I said, I don't have a problem with it. But now, I'll bring up Rabada as an example. Why would you want to play IPL and not a Test match for your country? Now, I understand that South Africa has problems paying their players. But Rabada has played the IPL for 3 to 5 years. Rabada can probably retire now with the money he's got. He's set. That's set.
Exactly. Very good player. But that's why the South African player team is declining.
Yeah.
They are very good at home. But they didn't perform due to lack of experience, you can say. Also, now other thing like I just want to discuss. Like don't allow your player. That might be the good decision if you want to save your Test cricket, your country cricket. don't give NOC to play in another league like India. You just want to play league,
Yeah.
just play IPL. We don't allow you NOC to play another
Well,
league like Bash or PS.
well, I've been on record in saying if David Warner, Steve Smith, Pat Cummins give up a test match for an IPL spot, well, I'm sorry, you don't play for Australia ever again. I don't care who you are. And that's been fed into them. Because Pat Cummins, they'll be David Warner, Steve Smith, they'll be playing in the IPL. They wouldn't dare pull out of a test. They would not dare of pulling out a test series because of the
And most importantly,
yeah,
player like Steve Smith or
yeah,
Jason Roy, they are
yeah,
very big player, right? But
yeah,
their value in the IPL is very low. If you see, for a great example, Steve Smith, right? He just went like unsold in first round, right? He just pick on the base price, like same as Jason Roy. He didn't. He unsold in first round. So you
mm,
are thinking, you're thinking like, oh, IPL has stayed a lot of high standard, right? But
yeah.
that's disrespectful for the player as well. Now, if you go unsold, if you are getting only base price, so that might also affect your mentality as well. But I don't know why they are still playing like. What's your take?
I look. The players deserve their money. You know that if they want to use IPL, if they want to use the PSL, Pakistan Super League, if they want to use the Big Bash to get their money, that's fine. That's 100% fine. I've got no problem with that. But as I say, if you're Rabada's been playing Test cricket for a long time, a long, long time, and he's playing IPL for a very long time. When you've played that many of seasons and got your money, he deserves every cent of that. The IPL has played him every cent, no doubt. You would think, well, I've already got the money I need. I'm just going to play for my country. That's the mentality they should have. Now, I'm not saying everyone should be like Australia. Like I said, Steve Smith, David Warner, Pat Cummins wouldn't dare put an IPL game ahead of so wouldn't put a test match ahead of an IPL game. Wouldn't even think about it. They would always play test cricket. But, not everyone's like that. Everyone's different in their mind. Now, Sri Lanka have problems with paying players. West Indies,
Yeah,
this is why you see West Indies focus the whole game around T20. Forget about IPL, forget about the whole format of T20 because they're not getting paid at test level.
exactly.
So they're saying, well, if we're not getting paid at test level, why the hell should I why should I play test cricket? And if I do play test cricket, why is my heart into it? When I can go across the continent, get IPL, get $1 million for 10 matches.
Exactly. That's if you play single league na IPL,
Yeah.
you get a whole season. Like you will get a total money of you if you play a single IPL season now. You don't have to play all other league. If you play all other league together, you get that money. Compared to the IPL, you get that money, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they are
Yeah. And the players like Glenn Maxwell, they're never going to play Test cricket again, ever. They're done.
never.
They're what they are white ball players. Same with Jason Roy, white ball player. That I don't have a problem with. If they want to say, you know what, I don't want to play T20 for Australia. If I don't want to play ODIs for Australia, I want to play IPL. That's fine. That I've got absolutely no problem whatsoever with that. Because they've made their careers off white ball cricket. Now when you take a red ball cricketer like Steve Smith hardly ever plays white ball cricket for Australia. Hardly ever. Plays a lot of IPL though, a lot.
Exactly.
When you take a red ball player and try to convert him into a white ball player, because what cricketers will adapt in today's game. They will take what they've learned elsewhere and adapt it into their own game. 10 years ago before IPL, we wouldn't dare see reverse sweeps, players reverse sweeping on 97, like Khwaja. They wouldn't even think about it. But because of IPL, because of Big Bash, because of mostly T20 cricket, they think that they can implicate that mentality into that game and learn something from it and put it into it. And
And
when they look,
example is we
yeah,
can say that he's playing
yeah,
he's playing test like a T20 cricket, right?
yeah, yeah,
And very but it's sort of an exceptional player, right? No one
yeah,
can play
yeah.
just like T20.
It's very good when it comes off. It's very good when it comes off. Very, very good. Like Richard Pant, only knows
Exactly.
one way. That fantastic when it comes off. But we've seen in situations with Richard Pant, he needs to grind an innings down and plays a stupid shot, and then we all scold him to death. You
It's
know?
a double.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah,
double-edged
yeah.
sword,
So
na?
yeah, yeah.
You win
So
or you lose.
yeah, so that's what cricketers do. They'll take something from somewhere else and adapt it into their own game. And when they
Exactly.
get out, like Khwaja doesn't play IPL.
Yeah,
He doesn't play.
he plays very well these days, right?
Yeah,
Very
he's a
competitive batsman.
he plays a lot of domestic cricket for Queensland, a lot. In fact, he doesn't even play PSL.
He played very long period in the domestic cricket. That's why he is in the
Yeah,
team, right? I think he
yeah,
after 2 or 3 years
yeah,
he is in team. He's playing after playing so many long
yeah,
time. He
and
just
you
played
know,
15, but he didn't get a match to play.
yeah,
I think he's in
and
squad, but he didn't get any chance.
yeah, he was the informed Sheffield Shield player when he got
Exactly.
selected in the Ashes. The inform. Now he played a very stupid shot in his first Test match, that reverse sweep, and he got interviewed about it, and he
Exactly.
said, "Oh, no, I don't know. I just wanted quick runs." You know that's because he got the pressure was with him. You know he wanted to get 100 in his home country, place of birth. Usman Khawaja is from Pakistan, as we all know. He just felt pressure. He wanted to get quick runs instead of grinding. You know he wanted to get quick runs. You know, and that's the adaptations from other places, other leagues like IPL. Even though he hasn't played IPL, he
Yeah.
does play big. He does play the Big Bash. He does play the Big Bash, but not doesn't he's domestic. He stays in Australia, but does play the Big Bash. And so
Okay.
he's taken those shots from the Big Bash and decided I need quick ones. I need pressure. He's played a very silly shot. However, he has made the 100 in this match, and very
Yeah.
good. Well done for getting his 100 in place of birth. But cricketers, my point is, cricketers will adapt in different situations. They will take things that they've learnt elsewhere and adapt it into their game, and that's fine. But I have a problem. I have a problem with that when it doesn't come off.
You said a very good, great point. Uh, I just want to add some one player name, Shreyas Iyer. He's he's playing a
Yeah.
very that's like he's adapting a condition like he's playing a T20 cricket
Mm,
like
mm,
T20 cricket. He's playing Test cricket
mm,
like a Test cricket, right?
mm,
He know how to accelerate. He know how to
mm.
defend. He know how to rotate the strike.
Yeah.
How to like play the game along with others. He is a
And,
very good example of that. Like
and
you have to transfer, you have to play according to the condition.
yeah, and I've seen him against New Zealand where he made that 100 on debut. You wouldn't have known it. You wouldn't have thought he played IPL. If you're new to cricket, you don't know. Well, I presume everyone in India would know about IPL. But if you didn't follow the IPL, you wouldn't know Ayaan is an IPL player. You just think, oh, he likes the long form of game. Again, that is
Exactly.
completely fine when it comes off. Completely fine. No problem with that whatsoever. People thinking I'm ditching IPL here. It's not the case. I'm just saying when it doesn't come off, it's going to be an innings where Aya needs to bail out a team. May not be next innings, maybe 5 years to come for you, like we've seen with Richard Pant, where you need to grind down. He might get into that situation and he plays a silly shot. What's going to happen? Everybody's going to be on him. Why did you play such a silly shot? You know, and I don't think a cricketer needs that pressure, because they're dealing with their own pressure. They're dealing with their own mental demons. And Richard Pant has copped abuse from a lot of people on social media about playing his
Yeah,
way.
he faced a
And
lot.
yeah,
He faced a
and
lot of
yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
came out from that all the drawbacks on
mm,
setbacks, and he
mm,
performing very well.
yeah,
And he's handling a lot of pressure. That's a
yeah,
very good thing of
yeah,
he's handling very good
yeah.
pressure.
Which is good. Some cricketers don't handle pressure very well though.
Yeah.
They break down. Glenn Maxwell is one of those players that doesn't really like pressure. He likes to play freely. He likes to have a good clear of mind. As we can see with Maxwell's status, if you take his group stage games and compare them to his games in finals, very different player, extremely different player. Nowhere near the player that he was because of pressure, of mental pressure. And I don't think players on social media, when they say, "Oh, we don't read that crap," they do read it. They can't keep away from it.
Exactly.
And when they say, "Oh, you've played a bad shot. How could you play that shot?" I don't think they need that. That's what I have a problem with. But as I said, they are big boys. They have to deal with it their own way. But I just don't like it. But like I said, it's their money. It's not my money. It's their batting. It's not my batting. It's their decision. It's not my decision. They have to make up their own. And whatever they do, players are going to support them. But when they get it wrong, spectators, the fans, they're going to get on their back. And they have to be prepared for that.
Exactly. So it's a very long show. We took a lot of time. Lucas, thank you for your time. We'll catch up in the next, maybe in the next test. We'll do a show together. Hopefully, same fight which both teams shown in this match. We'll have to see in the Lahore. I think Pakistan is going to win that match. And all the best to the Australian team. So that's it in this show. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Good night. Take care. Thank you, Lucas, for your time.
No problem. Thank you very much.